Welcome to the field north of Stickford, but Stickford is to the east. I'm Hrothgar the Saxon. The Metatron. He made a video the other day talking about the Northman, I think it's called, and he correctly points out that the protagonist's main style of fighting is crap, not his wording. We see this guy dual-wielding an axe in his left hand and what the Metatron refers to as a sword with reverse grip in his right hand. And a lot of people in the discussions then pointed out, this is not a sword, it's a sax that makes it a knife. I have the feeling that this really is an armchair warrior discussion. Sorry if I'm offending you. Now, to start with, it's irrelevant if we classify the blade as a sword or a knife. The Metatron made a good video on that. His actual point is the reverse grip is dumb. Yes, you think it looks cool, and it is historically correct, but not for a sword or a long sax. If you have a short blade, it makes sense. I'll come to that later. Point one, you lose reach. This, by the way, is not a primary weapon. It's a secondary weapon. We'll come to that later. So this tree here, if I stand at arm's length, I'm standing straight, I hope I reach the tree with the normal grip. With a reverse grip, I have no chance of hitting this tree anymore. I have moved myself out of reach. Or, if that tree would have a sword and an arm the same length as me, I would be within its reach, but not it within my reach. So I put myself at a disadvantage by holding the sword in a reverse grip. Now, some people have pointed out, oh, but you can block much better like that. This is the point where I say, that is an armchair warrior speaking. Point one, as the Metatron says, we do not see the Norseman block anything like that. Point two, if you want to block, which is something you don't really want to do, you want to deflect your opponent's blow, I'll put that in a separate video. You've got much more strength in your hand if you block like this. Now this is something, don't take my word for it, just test it yourself. You need two things, a stick and a friend, and you might be able to find one of those two at least. Test this with a stick and a friend. If you're holding the sword, I'll call it the right way round, then it will be more difficult for him to disarm you than if you're holding it in a reverse grip where you're not capable of holding your sword as tightly due to leverage. Yes, that's something that exists. As said, I think there's a point that comes up because we are talking with armchair warriors. Once again, sorry for offending you. Now, as I just said, the reverse grip is absolutely legitimate. It did exist, but for daggers and knives. Sorry that this is a blunt piece of wood. You have got much more strength in your chest, shoulder and arm if you stab downwards like this compared to stabbing upwards like this. So, for a short blade, this reverse grip makes sense. Blocking like that, not really too much, and the longer the blade is, the more difficult it is for you to control this tip. I am capable, I do believe, of hitting that leaf, yes, with my sword, but I have more control using a short blade like that. As I said, this, on the other hand, is actually a secondary weapon. Your primary weapon should be a spear, because here I have much more reach. So if this tree had my sword and my arm, I would be out of reach, but it is not out of reach of me. So to wrap this up, what Raphael was saying is that the reverse grip doesn't make sense. It is not that good. I have found that there are a lot of people, if they know that they are not going to win an argument, they suddenly focus on irrelevant points that have nothing to do with the main discussion. This is because they feel they cannot be perceived as being wrong, they have to win, and they don't care what the truth is. Being correct or being right is more important to them. And those are the people that then start saying, that's not a sword, it's a knife. If for some reason you don't know who the Metatron is, please go and check him out. He's easy to find here on YouTube, the Metatron. Cool guy, he's Italian but he speaks good English. See you next time. Well then again, I'm not sure if his English is that good if he can't pronounce Bavaria properly.